Hello everyone, and Briximus Prime back at it again for another Transformers action figure video, and today we are going to be doing kind of like a throwback Thursday kind of thing, even though it's not Thursday. But I mean, if you're watching this on a Thursday, then congratulations, I guess. But anyway, this review was requested by Coach Pickering, or some of you might know him as Mr. Pickering, or Pick, or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, this is an original Generation 1 Grimlock, and I'm actually messing with you guys. I actually do not have the original box for this figure, so now, granted, yes, I may not have Grimlock's original packaging, but I do have his original packaging text spec card.
Function Dinobot Commander. Among the winners, there is no room for the weak.
Yeah, that's great, Grimlock. Fun for the kids.
Most fearsome and powerful Dinobot, although dedicated to the Autobot cause, resents authority, cold, merciless, but a valiant warrior, has contempt for the weak, including all humans, great strength, uses jaws to break almost anything in two, carries energy sword, and galactal rocket launcher in Dinobot mode. Other than arrogance and lack of speed, has no real weaknesses.
And basically, here in the tech specs here, it just says that he's a dumbass. And now, with the packaging out of the way, let's now take a look at Generation 1 Grimlock's accessories. First of all, he comes with his iconic red sword. He also comes with his iconic double-barreled blaster. And then, a more uncommon accessory for him to have. His old G1 toy did have this little rocket launcher. And this rocket launcher has these little chromed out missiles that you just stick in there, and then you just... Overall this time, though, you can tell, though, that the missile launching gimmick doesn't quite have the strength that it used to.
Just like these nuts.
And now, with all that out of the way, we're now going to take a look at Grimlock in his T-Rex mode, because this is the mode that he came packaged in his box all those years ago. And first of all, I love the T-Rex head here. Again, this is the face that ended up becoming super iconic for the character. I love the red eyes. He's got a nice Autobot logo sticker there on his head. Got some nice sculpted in teeth as well. I also like this transparent plastic, revealing some of that chromed up detail inside of him. And again, nice little chromed up arms, and the stickers here are also very clean. They're not really peeling off or anything. And some nice sculpted in detail and such. Also, due to this guy being an old Diaclone toy, he does have this little old driver seat thing in his back that doesn't quite do anything. You could put your weed in there. He's got a little rub sign Autobot logo. Let's see if this thing still has some life in it. Yeah, it totally does. And again, he's just got some nicely sculpted work going on with that classic Diaclone detail. Also, this gold chrome here is very, very beautiful. The iconic chrome gold diaper. And then overall, he has the his big old tail right here with some nice bits of chrome right here that are a little bit worse for wear, but it doesn't look too shabby, all things considered. This is still one of the best looking G1 Grimlocks I have ever seen in person. For posability on this mode, he doesn't really do much. He just has his head go up and down. His mouth can open really wide.
Me, Grimlock, king! Me, Grimlock, dumbass!
These arms can rotate up and down. The legs can rotate forward and back. And then it looks like there's supposed to be a knee joint right here for the leg. And it kind of works, but it's so tight that I'm actually too scared to use it. That's what she said. And then that's pretty much where the articulation ends.
Damn, boy! Damn, boy, he's thick!
And now for comparisons, here is the original Generation 1 Grimlock with the Generation 1 inspired Studio Series 86 Grimlock. Here he is with Shattered Glass Grimlock. Here he is with the Bayverse Age of Extinction Studio Series Grimlock, who, by comparison, looks like he belongs on a heavy metal band album cover. And then here he is compared next to the Planet X Vulcan, also known as the Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. And then here he is compared next to the last Generation 1 Transformer I took a look at, the Generation 1 Soundwave reissue. And now with comparisons out of the way, let's now get into Grimlock's super, really complicated transformation. The sarcasm is strong with this one. And now let's take a look at Grimlock in his robot mode. And yeah, I really like Grimlock's head sculpt here. Looks pretty faithful to how he usually appears in, typical Transformers media. And again, he actually looks pretty well proportioned between his chest and his head, and oh my gosh. Man, someone's really been hitting the gym. I never realized on the original toy how far his head sat back on his chest. And speaking of the chest here, the chrome here is some of the most beautiful I've ever seen on any Transformer Generation 1 toy in general. This is like some of the best, most well-kept chrome. Though, one thing I will say though is, sadly, about the chest, he is missing this one piece. Also, the red paint here is also really nice. A shame, though, that the stickers here on his hips were not very well taken care of. But overall, same thing goes down to these, claws right here around his fists. Grimlock also has some really nice chrome down there. And again, just pretty typical sculpted detail as we've already seen in the robot mode originally. Just now it's been, or in the T-Rex mode, now it's been distributed throughout the robot mode in a much different fashion, even if it's not the best looking. You can really tell why this guy has really stood the test of time. And again, that chrome is so beautiful that it's even stood the test of time. You would have mistaken it for gold, though with how much this guy goes for, it might as well be gold. Like, this is still a really, really good classic toy from the 80s. Getting into Grimlock's posability, he has nothing at the head. These little shoulder bits tend to move out of the way so the shoulders can rotate a full 360 forward and back. And then he doesn't have any elbow or anything, nothing at the wrist, nothing at the waist. Hips don't rotate forward. The hips do move out to the side, as you can see. And then he has no thigh swivel. And then he does have a nice bend at the knee, one of the few Generation 1 toys with bendable knees. And then nothing at the ankle. Man, no one ever told me that the G1 posability was absolute shit. And then here is the Generation 1 Grimlock compared to the Studio Series 86 Leader Class Grimlock. And oh my gosh, you can really tell how they pulled from such an amazing design. Even right down to the sword, the blaster, and just the overall color scheme. And then here is Grimlock compared next to the Shattered Glass Grimlock, aka Grimlock if he was under a black light. That's not the only thing that looks weird under a black light. Here he is with the Studio Series Bay Film Grimlock, who, as I previously mentioned before, is metal as fuck. Here he is next to Planet X Vulcan, also known as Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. And then here is Grimlock compared next to the Generation 1 Soundwave. And man, have we come such a long way, because these guys are completely out of scale to what they look like now. And that is basically it for my review on the Generation 1 King of the Dinobots, Grimlock. So, yeah, as I mentioned before, this figure really stands the test of time. In terms of, maybe not so in terms of his quality, he has kind of got some loose joints and, some of the stickers are peeling off and such, but like, in terms of playability and just the design of this, the aesthetics, and just, like, this toy really is an oldie but a goodie, a real classic from the 80s. I would even say this guy is just as good as the original Generation 1 Optimus Prime toy, or even G1 Soundwave. And yeah, I can really see why Grimlock has become such a, beloved character over the years. And again, I can also see why this was also a really fun childhood toy for Coach Pick. So, yeah, that is pretty much it for this review. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to give me a like on the video. Comment below what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel for more Transformers and action figure content.
And me, Grimlock, will catch you next time! Yeah!